I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones, enough to make my systems blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Whoa, whoa, I'm radioactive, radioactive. Whoa, whoa, I'm radioactive, radioactive. We will endure, we will be strong and live to say we rejoice in trials of this life. We rejoice, my God, we will survive. We rejoice in trials of this life. We rejoice, my God, we will survive.
There was one person that I had reached out to in my family that knew the truth as to what was going on within my marriage. And that was my little brother. 3 weeks into all of this I just explained to you, was in a 3-week span. And my brother, he died. And I couldn't get to him in time. So I said, God, what else? You know? I have cancer. My husband's leaving me. My little brother's gone. I had faith in God. I knew He's real. I know He's real. But I was hurting so bad. And I fell apart. So in the midst of all this chaos that was going on in my life, there's still responsibilities. You know, there's still bills to pay. And I had to reach out to God big time because I thought, how in the world am I going to go back and face my staff and face customers and face life when I'm falling apart inside? And He gave me that strength, whether I thought I had it or not. And people kept saying, Dina, you're so strong. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm not.
Lazarus' sickness will not end in death. No, it happened for the glory of God. You see, there's a plan in place. I think all the disciples breathe a sigh of relief. And then in verse 5, so although Jesus loved Martha, Mary, and Lazarus, He stayed where He was for the next 2 days. Imagine what it was like when the messenger returned back to Mary and Martha and Lazarus. And they're like, is Jesus coming? No, He's not. He said something about Lazarus not dying, but he's not coming back. See, I think we learn an important detail in the story, just right there. That when we ask God to do things for us and He doesn't show up right away, that doesn't mean He doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It doesn't mean that you don't have His attention. His dear friend is sick, and they reach out for Him. They believe that He is capable. All he has to do is ask God, and He decides to stay where He's at. A few days go by where Jesus is at, a few days away from Bethany, and He tells His disciples, it's time to go back to Judea. And they get a little concerned because every time the disciples and Jesus head back to Jerusalem, the religious leaders send people out to pick a fight. They're trying to arrest Him and find grounds to kill Him. And so the disciples are all scared for their lives every time they get close. That's why they're away from there to begin with. And so they have this debate, and He begins to explain that Lazarus has fallen asleep. And they're like, well, what's the big deal? If he's asleep, he'll wake up. And Jesus has to speak plainly in verse 14. He says, Lazarus is dead. And then He goes on to say, and for your sakes, I'm glad I wasn't there, for now you will really believe. Come, let's go and see him.
And I